Hey guys, welcome back to Conversing with Drinks. What you're about to see is our new venture, which is going to be a Bible study. And we're going to spend the first 10 weeks talking all about grief and healing from grief through scripture. And what you're about to see is a recording that I did. Um, I wanted to release it on Thursday, but I'm releasing it on Saturday. So you're going to hear me in there say that this video will be available on Thursday because our Bible study will be available on Thursday. It's just I've been under the weather this week. If you can't hear it in my voice already, you should be able to hear it on that. I hope you guys enjoy. If you want to be part of Bible study, just let me know, and we can do a group Bible study. I will send you the guidelines and the outline for that week, and give you time to absorb it, pray about it, scripture and everything that you need to do, and then we'll do the episode. I can push episodes back. It's my podcast. I can do whatever I want to with it. But again, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And if you have anything that you want to talk to me about when it comes to the Bible, as much as people don't see it or believe it, I am a very religious person. I just I walk in it more than I talk about it, and so I feel like I need to start talking about it more, and just let you guys see a different side of me. So again, I hope you enjoy it. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you have a blessed Saturday. Enjoy the episode. Peace. I'm out. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our new addition to Conversing over Drinks, which is Bible study. And the first week, and probably most of the weeks, I'm going to be doing this Bible study by myself, but I would love to invite guests who want to come speak on the series that we're doing. Right now, we're going to do a 10-week series about grief and healing through just spiritual relief. The first week, we're going to start with facing the reality of grief. Now, I know this is very hard for a lot of people, especially me. It took me a long time to face the reality of grief. I'm gonna be very honest and vulnerable here. I've had a rough 5 or 6 years spiritually. I mean, first thing that happened was my grandfather passed away while I was coaching in college. Um, it was a dream of mine to coach at that level, and when he passed away, it hurt, but it didn't hit me as much because he had kind of prepared me for it. He had always told me that once he passed away, that I shouldn't grieve or feel sad because I should rejoice in him going home to meet the Father. I should rejoice and celebrate the life that he lived, the long and beautiful life that he lived. And so that's what I did. And coaching really helped. But then the next year, I took over at a school. I was the head coach there, and it was a great feeling. It was nice to be in an environment where I could control everything, because as a young man, I thought that's what I needed as a coach, is to be able to control everything. That first year of being a head coach really showed me that I needed help. Um, but it also showed me what grief could do, because my grandmother passed away in the middle of the season, right before Christmas break. And that hit me really hard. And it was something that I had to apologize to my players about, because I put them through the ringer. I ran them through the ground, because the only thing that I knew I could do to take my mind off of her was to coach and prepare them to be as good as they could be. And it was a rough time. And she was such an important figure in my life. She was a lot to me. And then the next year, about a year and a half, my mentor passes away. And that hit me very hard. And he was my rock. He was my stone. He was everything for the last 6 years of his life. we spent almost every day together. We talked every single day. He lived right next door to me, like literally across the yard. We would have coffee every morning. We would have dinner together most weeks. He would come over to the house and watch sporting events and comedy specials with me. We would talk about the Bible. We would talk about the growth. We would talk about all these different things. He was the only person that I was completely open and honest with and vulnerable with. And then he was just gone. And it hurt me even more because I had to make the calls. I had to call his daughter. I had to do things that I just didn't understand. I wasn't prepared for at the time. And it was just very hard for me. It was a struggle. And it hurt. And I remember being extremely mad with God. Because in my eyes, I had seen him take away the three most important people to me in a 3-year span. And now I just felt lost. I felt lost. I felt broken. I didn't know what to do anymore. I just wanted to run away. I just wanted to disappear. I went into a very deep depression. I wasn't myself anymore. And to be completely honest, I don't think I still am my former self, which is not a good thing, but also not a bad thing. I think grief helps you grow. And we see it in Psalm 34:18, where David is talking to the Lord, and he says that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That was very hard to realize at that time, because I was brokenhearted and I was crushed in spirit. And instead of believing that he was right there next to me, I felt like he had abandoned me. I felt like he had turned his back on me. I felt that he had took away part of life that I needed the most. And that's a very selfish way to think about it. I remember saying this at my mentor's funeral when I was speaking. I said that I couldn't write anything down because everything I wrote down sounded so selfish to me, because it was selfishly me wanting them back, selfishly me wanting them in my life, selfishly wanting them to always be there when they had all three got to the place they had worked their entire life to get to. They were home. They were with him. But I didn't want that. I wanted them back with me. And I think that's how we all feel in grief. We feel like, why? Like, why at this time? Why this person? Just why? And it's a very selfish but human thing, because none of us know what's on the other side. None of us will ever know what's on the other side until we're on the other side. And we can't come back and tell anybody. If we do, they kill us. And it's like, you look at everybody that's told them about the Bible. It's like, Jesus is the main example. He came back and told you what the promised land was about, and they killed him. So it's a very selfish thing, but it's also a very human thing. And I think when it comes down to it, we have to acknowledge that grief is natural. And God understood what he was doing. It's his plan. It was their time. It's not for us to dictate when that happens. It's not for us to say you messed up or you took the wrong person at this time. And I know it hurts, because it can feel the same when you're sitting at the bedside of a father or a mother who's been struggling with cancer or something like that, and they pass away, and it just feels like like you've gone with them, or you have a sick child and you don't understand why God is taking life this early. You just see a beautiful angel there. And he sees the same. Healing through this grief is something that is just struggle with. And it's so hard to really talk about, because you, especially as men, like as men, you're supposed to be the rock. You're supposed to be the standard. You're supposed to be the thing that people lean on. And I tell people this all the time. Men, we have deep, deep emotions. But the reason we don't show them that much is because we have showed them before and we were met with rejection, or we were met with misunderstanding, or we were called soft, or it was something where we couldn't just express it. I remember it was so hard for me to grieve to my friends and to other people, because it was like, well, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm a man. I'm not supposed to do this. I didn't even take breaks from work. I remember when my grandfather passed, the coach said, "Hey, Cedric, if you need time, go." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." When my grandmother passed, my superintendent was like, "Hey, Cedric, if you need time, like, go." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." And when my mentor passed, the school I was at, they said the same exact thing. It was, "Cedric, if you need time, go." And I said, "Nah, I'm good." And it's because that's how we were raised. As much as I love my grandfather told me, "Don't you dare take a day off of work to grieve my loss." He said, "You take your black ass to work." But timing is everything. And when we talk about it in Ephesians 3, verses 1 through 4, there's a time for everything and a season for every event under the heavens. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. And I'm going to stop right there, but I suggest you that you read the rest of chapter 3 in Ephesians, because it's just such a great lesson about timing. There was time for me to mourn my grandfather, my grandmother, my mentor. And there was a time for me to cry, and I shed a lot of tears over them. But the thing is, I could only cry when it was just me. When it was just me in a dark room, that's the only time I could cry. I could never cry around people. I didn't cry at the funerals. I just smiled and just kind of went through the motions. And I do thank my grandfather for teaching me that death is something to be celebrated and not mourned, because you're celebrating the joy in the life that that person brought to other people and the joy in the life that that person lived. So at the funerals, some people would always look at me as if I was rude, because I'm smiling and I'm laughing and I'm telling old fond stories. And I'm doing that because that's the joy that they brought to me. That's the joy that they brought to others. That's the joy that they brought to the world. Grief can teach us a lot about our faith. Grief taught me that my faith was weak. Because when they passed, it took me over 3 years to walk back into a church. I never stopped talking to God. I never stopped arguing with God. I never stopped seeking God, but I could never walk into a church because the church was where my relationship with those three were the strongest. My grandfather being a deacon, my grandmother being the lead of the choir, my mentor being a pastor. They say you don't see lessons until you're way past it. And I see it all the time now. My grandmother used to call me preacher. She used to call me preacher because she thought I was going to be a preacher. My mentor was so big on me seeking out religion and chasing things because he thought I had just a knack for talking to people and understanding the word. I apologize for the alerts. Sorry, I thought I had my phone on silent. And it just seems that I'm struggling with my faith. And it's okay to admit that you're struggling with your faith. You should always struggle with your faith. That's part of life. That's part of living. That's part of faith. David struggled with his faith. Solomon struggled with his faith. The only person that never struggled with their faith was Jesus. And I always tell my buddies when they ask me how I feel right now in religious terms, and I always tell them I feel like David when he's writing the Psalms. There's joy in some Psalms. There's disdain in others. There's pain. There's depression. There's asking God why. There's feeling of abandonment. And that's how I feel right now. That's how I'm grieving right now. It's not a weakness to grieve. It's not a weakness to mourn. You just have to find the right time and the right way to do it. And always know that God is right there with you, helping you through everything, leading you and guiding you. My grandmother used to tell me all the time, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I think I'm done trying to make God laugh. Thank you guys for listening to this week's Bible study. Again, if you want to be part of the Bible study, you want to be part of the discussion, please just send me a message. We'll talk about it. We'll have you on the episode. I'll send you the entire guideline of what we're doing for the next 9 weeks. This has been week 1 of Bible study, facing the reality of grief. I've been your host, Cedric Turner. The episodes will come out on Thursday. You have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out.